Pokemon Scarlet and Violet Paldea Evolved releases on June 9th. So today I thought it would be fun to review every fully evolved grass type in that set. So we're going to be going through all of them. I'm going to give all my thoughts on them and how much I think they will impact the game of Pokemon. Alright, so first off we got Jumpluff. Now Jumpluff is a grass type Pokemon with 90 HP. Now right off the bat, 90 HP doesn't sound too great, especially since it is a third stage Pokemon, so you have to evolve it twice. But just wait for the ability and the move. The ability is Float Away. If any damage is done to this Pokemon by attacks, flip a coin. If heads, prevent that damage. So basically, every time you take damage, you only have a 50% chance of taking that damage. That's pretty crazy. And then its attack, Fuzzy Wind, is even better. It only costs 1 grass-type energy, it does 60 damage, and does 30 damage to one of your opponent's benched Pokemon. That is 90 damage total for a 1 energy move. That is nearly unheard of. Its weakness is Fire, it does not have a resistance, and its retreat cost is only 1 energy, which is good, because this thing is very frail, so if you need to switch out, you can. Overall, I'm going to give this card an 8.7 out of 10. Next up, we have our first EX being Fortress EX. Now, this is a Stage 2, so you do have to evolve it once from Pineco. Terastal. This Pokemon doesn't take any damage from attacks while on the bench. Ability, Explosive Energy. Once during your turn, you may search for up to 5 basic grass energy cards and attach them to your Pokemon in any way you like. Then shuffle your deck. If you search your deck in this way, this Pokemon is knocked out. Now, that's not great. I'll be honest, I don't see any situation where that's really useful unless you are at the very end of the game and you need to make a sacrifice play and attach 5 grass energy to a crazy good grass type EX, which there aren't many of, by the way. The best one's probably Meowscarada in this set. But overall, it's not the worst. It's just not very good. And then it has a grass type move for 2 grass energy, 120 damage. During your opponent's next turn, this Pokemon takes 30 less damage from attacks. That is crazy. You do 120 damage for 2 energy, and then you take 30 less damage from attacks next turn. Now, I think this Pokemon on its own is good enough to the point where you don't need to use the ability to make the sacrifice play to switch into something else, because this is better than most anything else that you're going to throw out that's a grass type. That's why I don't think the ability is that good. Obviously, as the Pokemon EX rule, its weakness is Fire, its resistance is none, and the retreat cost is 3 energy, which kind of stinks, but if you're gonna retreat, you might as well just use Explosive Energy. It has 270 HP, which is pretty crazy. Overall, I'm going to give this card a 7.3 out of 10. Next up, we got Heracross. Now, Heracross is a grass type with 130 HP. Already a pretty good start, because a base Pokemon having 130 HP is really good, obviously. Now, it costs 2 grass energy to do 50 damage, which is meh, not really that great, honestly. Maybe 5 years ago that would be a good move, but for today's standards, where Pokemon have 300 HP or more sometimes, it's not amazing. And then it has a move for 3 grass energy, Horn Smash, 110 damage. This attack's damage isn't affected by resistance. Now, that's not very good. I'm going to be honest. 3 energy for 110 damage isn't great. Even if it was 3 colorless energy, that's still not very good, because Jumpluff can do 90 damage for 2 energy, and you can split it across 2 Pokemon, which is only 20 less damage than the Heracross does, and you have to get a full extra grass energy on there. Its retreat cost is 3, and it's weak to Fire. Not great for a retreat cost. Overall, this card is going to get a 5.1 out of 10. Next up, we have Tropius. Tropius is a basic Pokemon with 110 HP, which is a decent start. It has Leaf Drain for 1 grass energy. You do 20 damage and heal 20 from that Pokemon. Okay, that's alright for only 1 grass energy. You know, nothing crazy, but not bad either. And then it has 3 grass energy for Tropical Winds. 2 grass energy and 1 colorless energy. It does 130 damage, and you move all energy from this Pokemon to one of your benched Pokemon. That's not, again, like, that's not very good. Like, yeah, you move your energy from that Pokemon to another. That could be nice, but what if you don't want to? Tropius has no other good attacks that do that much damage, and you don't have to switch all your energy to another Pokemon. What if you want to swing with Tropius? You can't. It has a weakness of fire, just like many of the cards on this list. Its resistance is none, and its retreat cost is 1. Overall, I'm going to give this Pokemon a 5.3 out of 10. I just don't see it being used much. And next up, we have Vespiquen, 120 HP. It evolves from Combee. For 1 colorless energy, it has double stab, 30 damage, flip 2 coins. This attack does 30 damage for each heads. So you could do 60 damage for 1 colorless energy, which is really good. But then you could also do 0, which is not very good. And then for 1 grass energy, you can do Raid Command, 120 damage. Shuffle a bench Combee and all cards attach to it into your deck. If you can't shuffle a Combee into your deck, this attack fails. Okay, it's only 1 energy, and I get that you have to have Combee on your bench, but there are so many cards that you can take out a Combee with, like literally just get a Pokeball. So that attack is pretty good. Not as good as it would be, obviously, if it didn't have that second part, but the damage is incredible. Weak to fire, resistance none, and its retreat cost is 2. Overall, I'm going to give this Pokemon a 6.2 out of 10. Next up, we have Abomasnow, 150 HP. It is a Stage 2 Pokemon, evolves from Snover. Ability, Catastrophic Freeze. Damage can't be healed from any Pokemon, both yours and your opponent's. Damage counters can still be moved. I mean, that doesn't really affect the game too much, but whatever. And then it has Magnum Punch, 2 grass energy and 1 colorless energy for 110 damage. That's decent. It's pretty good, but like that's the only thing it can do. That's literally it, other than its ability, which is pretty much useless because it also hinders you, not only your opponent. Weak to fire, resistance none, and its retreat cost is 3. Ugh. I'm gonna give this Pokemon a 5.2 out of 10. Now, next up, we have another EX, and that is Meowscarada EX. Now, it is a Grass-type Pokemon with 310 HP. That's really good. Ability, Magic Bouquet. You must discard a Grass energy from your hand in order to use this ability. Once during your turn, you may choose one of your opponent's bench Pokemon and put 3 damage counters on it. It's not super useful, but if you have grass energy in your hand, you can do some crazy stuff with that. So, a decent ability, but abilities aren't supposed to be incredible, they're supposed to be decent, which this one is. And then its only attack is Nail Scratch for 2 colorless energies, so just put 1 double colorless energy on there. It does 100 plus damage. If your opponent's active Pokemon already has any damage counters on it, this attack does 120 more damage. That is crazy. That is seriously ridiculous. You do 100 damage already for 2 colorless energy, which is insane. And then, if your opponent's active Pokemon has any damage on it already, it does 120 more. That is 220 damage for 2 energy, which you can achieve pretty easily, and there's no drawbacks. Like, this card is crazy. Obviously, as the Pokemon EX rule, weakness fire, resistance none, retreat cost 2. That's really good. I'm going to give this Pokemon a 9.2 out of 10. And next up, we got Spidops, 110 HP, evolves from Tarantula, which there are 2 of in this set, by the way. For 2 grass energy, you can do Entertainment Trap. Each player shuffles their active Pokemon and all cards attach them into your deck. You choose a new active Pokemon first. That's not very good. I'm just going to be honest. I mean, if your opponent has a really crazy good Pokemon out there, that's cool, but they probably have something else that they can just take out that will be just as effective if they're at the point where they have a Pokemon that crazy that you need to get them out of there. And then for Hammerin, it's 3 grass energy and you do 130 damage. That's a pretty average move. It's alright. Weak to fire, resistance none, retreat cost 2. Overall, I'm going to give this card a 6.3 out of 10. It's just average. Next up, we have Low Kicks. It has 120 HP and it evolves from Nimble. And for 1 grass energy, you can do Assault Kick, 30 plus damage. If this Pokemon evolved from Nimble during your turn, this attack does 100 more damage. That's pretty good. Obviously, it's only really good for 1 turn, but after that, it's just average, but still, very good. And then for 1 grass energy and 1 colorless energy, you can do Speed Attack with 70 damage. That's okay, that's pretty decent. Weak to fire, resistance none, retreat cost 1. This card is good, but the thing is that it doesn't really have anything that you can, like, spray damage at your opponent with. Like, the most it can do is 130 damage, and it can only do that once. So, I mean, after that, it's just kind of meh. But overall, I'm going to give this card a 7.1 out of 10, because that one turn where you do get to do 130 damage for one energy, crazy. And next up, we got Bramblegast, 100 HP. It is a stage 2. For 1 grass energy, you can do Absorb Life, 30 damage, and heal 30 damage from this Pokemon. Pretty good attack. I mean, for it only being 1 energy, that's pretty good. And then for 3 colorless energies, you can do Withering Prison, 80 damage. During your opponent's next turn, the defending Pokemon's attack costs 2 colorless energy more. That is really good. To make it so that if they have a Pokemon that's crazy stacked and you really can't do anything about it, you can make it so that they have to put 2 more energy to use any of their moves. That's a pretty good attack. It is weak to fire, has no resistance, and its retreat cost is 3. Overall, I'm going to give this Pokemon an 8.0 out of 10. And finally, we have Wo-Chien EX, 230 HP, pretty good. Basic Pokemon, Devouring Ivy for 2 grass energy and 1 colorless energy. This attack does 60 damage to one of your opponent's bench Pokemon for each prize card your opponent has taken. If this is a last Pokemon play, that's really good because that's like 300 damage max if you're at like some in-game situation. 300 damage for 3 energy is obviously incredible, but that only works if your opponent's taking a lot of prize cards. So late game card, very good. But if it is late game, you've got to get 3 energy on that thing. Not easy. And then for Forest Burn, it is 220 damage, 3 grass energy, 1 colorless energy. That's a pretty good amount of damage for how much energy it costs. But again, if you're using it, it's most likely an in-game situation, so you're not going to have time to get 4 energy on there, usually. Pokemon EX rule, obviously. Weakness is fire, resistance none, retreat cost 4. That is the highest retreat cost we've seen today. Overall, I'm going to give this card a 6.9 out of 10. You know, it's decent. In certain situations, it's incredible, but others, pretty much not going to work out too well. Now, overall, I'm going to say my favorite card that we've seen today is Meowscarada EX. Just because it has so much HP and Nail Scratch is busted. So if you guys did enjoy this video, then make sure to like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. And also, let me know if you want me to do this with different types as well. Like, I could do every final evolution fire type. Anyway, peace.